Right now, wherever you are sitting, there are dead people beneath you. Not in a creepy, metaphorical way, literally, under the floor, under the foundations, under the soil. There are human remains closer to you than you think. And the deeper you dig, in almost any populated place on Earth, the more of them you find. So tonight, let's ask the question nobody wants to ask out loud. How many dead humans are there, really? Where did they all go? And why are you, right now, almost certainly standing on top of them? Stay with me, because the answer changes how you see the ground you walk on for the rest of your life. Let's start with the number. Demographers at the Population Reference Bureau have actually tried to count it. Every human being who has ever been born, going back about 200,000 years. The estimate? Somewhere around 117 billion people have lived on this planet. And right now, only about 8 billion of us are alive. Do the math. For every single person breathing today, there are roughly 14 who have already died. You are not the majority. The living never have been. We are a thin, fragile layer of warmth on top of a planet that is, overwhelmingly, made of the people who came before us. 109 billion bodies. Where do you put that many dead? And that number is growing every second. Around the world, roughly 2 people die every second. That's about 60 million people a year, a figure so big it stops meaning anything until you put it like this. By the time this video ends, more than 1,000 people who were alive when you press play will be gone, quietly joining the 100 billion already beneath us. The dead are not a finished pile, they are a tide, and it is still coming in. Here's the unsettling part. The Earth doesn't really have a special place for them. There is no separate planet for the dead. They are here, with us, under us. Every graveyard you've ever driven past, every churchyard, every war field, every forgotten village, they don't get erased. The bodies break down, the bones soften, the markers crumble, and the dead slowly become the one thing they were always going to become. Soil, the ground itself. And in cities that humans have lived in for thousands of years, that ground builds up, layer after layer after layer. Take Paris. Beneath the streets, the cafes, the tourists, runs a tunnel system that holds the bones of around 6 million people. 6 million. In the 1700s, the city's cemeteries were so overcrowded that bodies were literally collapsing into neighboring basements. So they dug the dead up, by the cartload, and stacked their bones in the old mining tunnels underground. Today you can walk through them. Walls of skulls, femurs arranged like bricks. More dead Parisians underground than living ones above. And Paris is not special. London is built on plague pits, mass graves from the Black Death and beyond, so common that construction crews still hit them by accident. When they dug the tunnels for a new railway line across the city, archaeologists pulled up the skeletons of thousands of forgotten Londoners who had been sleeping under the traffic for centuries. The city of the living, sitting directly on the city of the dead. And it's not only old European capitals. In the middle of Manhattan, under the offices and the rush hour crowds of lower New York, construction once uncovered the African burial ground, the remains of thousands of enslaved men, women, and children, paved over and forgotten for almost 200 years. Almost every old city on Earth is hiding the same secret. The dead were never sent away. We just laid a floor over them and stopped looking down. But here's the part that nobody talks about. It's not just the recent dead under your feet. Some of the ground itself, the actual rock, is made of the dead. Think of the White Cliffs of Dover in England. Those bright white walls, hundreds of feet tall, that's chalk. And chalk is not a mineral that just appears. It is made almost entirely of the crushed shells of trillions upon trillions of microscopic sea creatures that lived and died and drifted to the ocean floor over tens of millions of years. An entire cliff made of corpses. So small, you'd need a microscope to see a single one. The limestone in cathedrals, the marble in monuments, the coal and the oil that run our world. Much of it is compressed ancient life. Death, pressed into stone, pressed into fuel. We don't just live on the dead. We build with them. We burn them to keep the lights on. And then it gets personal. Because the dead don't stay in the ground. The atoms that made up every person who has ever lived didn't disappear when they died. They scattered into the soil, into the water, into the air, into the plants. The calcium in your bones was once inside rock, which was once inside other living things. The carbon in your body has almost certainly been part of countless creatures before you. Maybe a tree, maybe an animal, maybe a person who died 1,000 years ago. Every breath you take contains atoms that have passed through the lungs of the dead. In fact, the air has been mixed and recycled so many times across thousands of years that with almost every breath, you are pulling in a few of the very same atoms once breathed by people long gone, strangers, ancestors, the famous and the forgotten alike. You are not separate from them. You are made of them, on loan, for a little while. I'll be honest with you. I used to find all of this morbid. Cemeteries gave me a strange, cold feeling, and I'd walk a little faster past them. The idea of the ground being full of the dead felt like something out of a horror film. But the more I learned, the more that feeling flipped completely. Because here's the reframe that changed it for me. The dead beneath your feet are not a graveyard you're trapped on top of. They are the foundation that made you possible. Every field of food you've ever eaten grew out of soil enriched by things that died. Every city you love was built on the layers of the cities before it. Every person you are grateful to exist because of, your grandparents and theirs, is now part of that ground. Life on this planet is not a line. It's a relay. The dead hand everything they were to the living, atom by atom. And the living carry it forward until it's their turn to hand it back. So no, the ground under your feet is not haunted. It's generous. 109 billion people lived their whole lives, loved, feared, hoped, lost. And when they were done, they didn't vanish. They became the world you get to stand on. And one day, a very long time from now, you will too. Your atoms will come apart and scatter and become soil and stone and the body of something not yet born. Someone, centuries from now, will walk across a field or a street or a quiet hill. And without ever knowing your name, they will be standing on you. And maybe that's not something to be afraid of. Maybe that's the closest thing to forever that any of us will ever get. The ground remembers everyone, even the ones the history books forgot. So the next time you feel small or temporary, or like you'll be forgotten, kneel down, put your hand on the earth, and remember, you are standing on 100 billion stories, and you are about to become one of them.